to my art channel. Without further ado, let's get drawing.
Happy New Year everybody, and welcome back to my art channel. So for today I wanted to do a landscape video, and I'm in the kind of beach vibe mood, ready for summer, and I figured that this landscape drawing would be an awesome tutorial for you guys to do. It's a beginner's level, and we're going to be using the liquify feature from the Procreate app. We're also going to be using a range of different brushes and techniques to create this landscape. So first of all you need to do is go ahead and open up a new canvas, and I'm going to do the screen size canvas for this one. We're not going to do it on a square canvas, we're going to be doing it on a screen size canvas. So go ahead and open that up. And to begin with, we're going to be doing our landscape in 3 different layers. So we're going to have the sky, the water, and then the beach. Now I'm going to be choosing my studio pen brush, and I'm going to choose a purple. So on your wheel, you're going to want to choose something like this, and then just go ahead and turn your size down, obviously. You're just going to want to do a kind of squiggly line like this. It doesn't need to be straight or flat. Obviously the beach and the sand goes in waves, so remember that. Then you're going to add a new layer, and you're going to bring this layer underneath the beach layer, and you're going to choose a blue color for your water, and then you're just going to draw a straight line like this, and then drag and drop, and this is going to be the horizon, and this is going to be the water. Then we're going to go ahead and open up another layer, and on this layer we are going to drop just a color which we're going to be using for our sky. So I'm going to do something between blue and purple and more on the grey side, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop, and then just bring this underneath all my other layers. So now we have 3 separate layers. We have the sky, the water, and the beach. Now we're going to start adding our elements. We're going to add some kind of like trees, mountains over here, and then a rock over here, and then we're going to add some boats as well. So go ahead and on top of all your other layers, add a new layer, and this time in a darker purple, not quite black. We're just going to add some rocks or trees, or just some kind of natural elements over here. So I'm just going to draw a straight line like this, and then I'm just going to bring it up, and we're just going to add something like this, and we're just going to move it so that it's just below the waterline. And then down here on the left, we're just going to zoom in. We're just going to draw something like a rock. And then we are going to draw just on top a couple of leaf shapes, like so. And then we're going to take our razor brush to these leaf shapes, and we're just going to erase some shapes out in between the leaves, just so that you can actually see their leaves. They're like Hawaiian leaves, palm tree leaves. Just something like this. If you think you've taken too much of your leaf, then just go ahead and fill it back in. Okay, and there we have the elements of our landscape. So as you can see, the beach is closer, and you can see the water, the horizon, and then out towards the sky. Okay, we are now going to draw our boat. Now, our boat we're going to place here in the middle, just kind of sitting on the sand and then into the water. So we're going to choose for our boat a lighter colour. We're going to go ahead into the pinks, and we're going to choose a peachy kind of pink colour, very light. Now make sure you're on a new layer, and then go ahead and just draw a line diagonally down like this, and then bring a curve like so, so that you now have kind of like a crescent half circle shape, which we're now going to work on and make into a boat. Okay, so to make this into a boat, we need to get the size perfect. So I'm just going to zoom in, and then here on the left side where we did the straight line, I'm just going to bring just a kind of curved line. Obviously I don't want it perfectly straight. And then you should have something that looks like this. Now, we're going to add a new layer, and then in a darker pink, we are going to, on the inside, we're going to draw the same shape just on the inside, like so. I'm just going to go back to my bottom layer, and I'm going to turn alpha lock on, and in the same colour, I'm just going to outline very slightly around the edge like this. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer, and then in a even lighter white pink, I'm going to add some rectangular planks to my boat. Just something like this. Inside you can do 3 or 4 or however many you feel like you need. Okay, now I'm just going to add a new layer, and I'm going to bring it underneath all my other boat layers that we did. And in a dark, I'm using the purple colour, so I'm going to go ahead for a dark purple. And I'm just going to, on this left side, draw a line straight down. And then I'm going to bring it up to the other corner, and then I'm just going to join underneath the boat, just join these two so that you can then drag and drop. And then you should have something that looks like this. Now we're going to need to add some shadows and some textures, and then we're just going to move our boat before we add the other shadows onto the beach. So I'm just going to turn alpha lock on to all my boat layers, and I'm going to start at the very bottom, and I'm going to choose black. I'm going to turn my studio pen all the way up, and I'm going to turn the transparency down, and I'm just going to add a dark shadow like this. I'm then going to go onto my middle layer, my darker pink. I'm just going to turn my size down, and then I'm just going to add a row of shadow here. And then in white, with the same transparency, I'm just going to add a highlight on top, like so. And then I'm going to go back to my dark black, and then I'm just going to add some shadows here, and then onto the steps, where the planks of wood, the steps, whatever you want to call it. Again, in my black, I'm just going to add some shadows like so. and then you'll have something that looks like this. Okay, now we're going to just combine 7, 6, 5 and 8, all your boat layers, like so. And then we're just going to move the boat down slightly. And you can also warp this, you can just so that you get the shape right. Okay, I think that looks good. So we're going to leave this boat here for now. Now we are going to go to our water and we are going to add a couple of boats here. So go ahead and choose this purple colour that you used for the boat. Turn your transparency back up and turn your pen size down. And then just go ahead, add a new layer, and then just draw a straight line with a small curve underneath. And then a line on top. These are going to be boats in the distance. So we want something like this. Then in white for the sail, we're just going to create a kind of lopsided triangle so it looks like a sail. And then in the same purple, we're just going to outline one side of the boat. Okay, now we are going to turn Alpha Lock on. And we're just going to go down here to our texture brushes, our touch up noise brush. And then in a light pink, I'm just going to add on one side light pink and then dark black here on the bottom, and then just a white highlight on top. Okay, and then we are going to duplicate, just zoom in, flip horizontally, and then create just a slightly bigger version. And bring one to the front. So you have something that looks like this. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and we're going to add some clouds in our sky and some seagulls, and then we're going to go ahead all throughout the drawing and add shadows and different kind of effects. So add a new layer, and in the same pink that you've just used for the shadowing, go ahead and just draw, go back to your inking pen, your studio pen, just draw a straight line, and then just go ahead and draw a cloud-like shape, like this. You can do a smaller one next to it. Very simple cartoon abstract clouds. And again, like this. And then we're just going to bring these clouds beneath our rocks so that they're behind. And then you can just finish up the cloud shapes like so. And then on here you have a small N. Go ahead and just turn the transparency down. Okay, now choose your black color, and on the same layer you can do this. Just go ahead and draw something that looks like a kind of like a V shape. Something like this. You can then go ahead, add a new layer, and just outline your seagulls in the darker black so that they pop. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start adding some shadowing to our beach layer. So go to your beach layer, click on Alpha Lock. You can also do this with a clipping mask or an Alpha Lock. If you do this effect with Alpha Lock turned on, then all your changes will be permanent. But if you do it on a clipping mask, then you can go back and change it. So I'm just going to turn Alpha Lock off for a second, and I'm just going to add a new layer above this one and then add a clipping. Okay, so make sure you have a new layer on top of your beach layer and click on clipping mask so that it's turned on. And then we're just going to go ahead and we are going to turn our studio pen brush up and our transparency down. And we are just going to create a slight shadow here. And then underneath the boat, I'm just going to erase this side. And I'm going to do the same under the, kind of by the rock. I'm just going to create a quick shadow here. And then on top, again, I'm just going to do another quick line, something like this. I'm then going to go to my actual beach layer and turn on Alpha Lock. And I'm going to choose my noise brush and I'm going to do a deep kind of pink colour. And I'm just going to turn the size up, and I'm just going to add some kind of extra shading and colouring in here. And then I'm just going to go back to my yellow and I'm just going to add some texture here as well with the yellow. Okay, now I am going to go to my my elements that I've put here. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn on Alpha Lock, and I'm going to choose black, and again with the noise brush I'm just going to add some darker shadows. And then some highlights as well. Just something subtle. Something like this. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm just going to bring it all the way down, and I'm going to make a new clipping mask. So I'm just going to bring that all the way down, and it's automatically created a clipping mask, which I don't want a clipping mask on here. I want a clipping mask above the water. So make sure that you move it above the water and turn on your clipping mask. And then we're just going to go back to our inking pen and we're going to choose black. I'm going to go all the way up this time. We're going to make this transparent and we're going to play about with the liquify feature. And I'm just going to add some squiggles of black, and then I'm going to add some squiggles of white, and I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to add some white. I'm going to add more white here because of the froth of the waves. And I'm also going to add a darker blue, and I'm just going to squiggle all this in. And we are now going to our magic wand and we're going to click on liquify. You can choose 12 right or left. make sure the size is about 60, and you can go ahead and just twirl and play about with the water feature. Now, I'm going to reset that, and I'm just going to twirl each part ever so slightly. I don't want to twirl it too much. So I'm looking for a kind of wave effect. So we're going to do this. Then we are going to use the crystal feature. So you can play about with the liquefy feature. It's actually a really cool feature, it's really fun. So I'm just going to click on crystals. I'm just going to go ahead and add some crystal effect, and then I'm going to turn the transparency down, so you'll end up with something like this. You can also add a new layer. Just click on clipping mask again, and then you can also just add some extra colouring. Just something very slight like this. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and on our sky layer, we are just going to add some stars. So choose white, go to your light pen under your luminance brushes, and just go ahead and add some stars, and then you will end up with something that looks like this.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because it really helps me in creating more free videos for all of you out there. So if you want to come and join my Procreate group, the links are in the description. I'd love for you to be a member of my group. We can share awesome ideas, tips and artwork. Also, please don't forget to tag me on Instagram so that I can see what work you've created from this awesome tutorial. So love to you all, and I'll see you in the next video.